This is my Harry Potter display. It's very squished, very small, and there's not much space. And with this video being recorded on September the 2nd, it has just been September 1st, which means the Hogwarts Express has just departed for Hogwarts. However, on this display, there appears to be absolutely nowhere I could possibly fit a Hogwarts Express. So, I'm going to rectify that with a much smaller version of the iconic train. The Hogwarts Express is a very prominent magical vehicle, and my Hogwarts display is too small to display the version which I did own, which was the 2018 release of the train, and I needed it there. It has been a staple of Hogwarts for a very long time, and it would feel wrong for the display not to feature one. It's been there since Harry met Ron on the train, opening chocolate frog cards together, meeting Hermione, Dobby stopping Harry and Ron getting onto the platform, meeting Professor R.J. Lupin and him stopping the Dementors, Sirius on the platform in Order of the Phoenix, Draco beating up Harry and leaving him under the cloak in the Half-Blood Prince, and the most recently, Albus and Scorpius in the Cursed Child, jumping on top of the train. However, one character which has been a staple throughout this all is the Trolley Witch. She gave Harry his sweets on the first day when Harry said he'll take the lot, and then all the way to the Cursed Child, where she herself announces that she's been with the Hogwarts Express since it was built. She jumps onto the top of the train and tries to stop Albus and Scorpius from leaving. Truly a staple of the train. Now, this train might be very small and might not be the best work that I have ever done, but I'm very proud of it. It is designed based on an old wooden railway set that I used to have, and it can go up the hills by turning, which is very nice, and it turns very well. You can separate the cars, which I'm going to do right now, and first we're going to take a look at the coal car. Very basic car, uses the wheels which I believe were used on the front of the Hogwarts Express, 2018 version, and it uses all of these cheese slopes to make the coal. Pull this off. This is a closer look at the system I used to connect the train together. It's very simple. At the bottom, it's just Technic, nothing too special. And then these big rectangle parts, they are what was used on the original coal tender from that 2018 version of the set. It was I did the coal in a pattern, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes round again. Probably could have done it a bit more random, but I like the pattern to look. Overall, not the best, but a very nice build. Next, we'll move on to the actual train, the staple of platform 9 3/4. The clip here is identical to the other one. I first tried it out using black. However, what you'll notice is this spins around really easily. However, when you use black, it is just solid and doesn't want to move. The wheels are slightly different here. I'm not a fan of it. However, I don't actually have two sets of the wheels that are used on the coal tender. So, sacrifices had to be made, and these wheels are used here. As you can see, perfect demonstration. That is why I'm not a fan of the wheels. They do tend to fall off. Now, on with another thing I'm not a fan of is this section right here. It is very plain, and I don't like it too much, but at the same time, I don't really have the parts to add buffers or anything onto this section. So I'm okay with it. The rest of the train well makes up for it. Take the dish piece off, it looks even worse. Putting the dish piece back on though, you can see it's the same one used at the front of the original Hogwarts Express set that I've been talking about so far. Actually, a lot of this is taken directly from that set. For example, the funnel is taken from the train, so is the dome and the whistle. Also these stickered elements, which were, I believe, on the driver's carriage, the driver's section of the train, and the Hogwarts Castle sign, which set a little bit of an angle, but putting it straight, as you could see, makes the dome fall off, and we do not want that. I do like the use of the rims here to give the train a bit more detail, stick out a bit more. However, one thing I don't like is this. As you can see, it's very rainbow. Now, I don't know if LEGO produces the pieces or whether I just don't have them, but I myself do not own these 3x1 plates with jumpers on them. So, unfortunately, they have to be black. I've done my best to try and make that look natural. The dome is just popping off here. The dish at the front. By adding black, where there's black, and this one black plate at the front to kind of transition. Kind of like an arched transition. But still, it's not the best. Attaching the train is very easy. And it overall looks very nice. However, I decided against the passenger carriage because, as I showed you at the start of the video, I don't specifically have space for it. And I also don't have this piece here. This, I guess, to hold Technic piece. I don't know the name for any Technic parts, unfortunately. But it looks and it works brilliantly, and I couldn't think of anything to replace it with. So, unfortunately, there is no clip at the back to attach the passenger carriage, and it's not exactly like any of the students are going to be able to use the passenger carriage. They are all a bit too big. But if this was to be released as a LEGO set, I would say it would just be this train, maybe the passenger carriage, probably the trolley witch, and personally, I would have it come with Albus and Scorpius, but being LEGO Harry Potter, it's probably more likely to come with Harry Potter. Since the Cursed Child hasn't got a LEGO set to this date. Well, that is all for my review of my miniaturized Hogwarts Express. I hope you all enjoyed the first official proper video on this channel, and hope you all have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.